Tonight on Hip on the Spot News. The latest update for DCS World brings more toys and effects to our playground. The free tennis class carrier gets a new and improved look. We explore the South Atlantic map by Razbam. And we break the mystery of the unique blue water grass. This and more on How I Play. Hello virtual pilots, I'm Andre Celesti, and tonight we are going to take a look at the most recent developments in DCS World. DCS version 2.7.15 Open Beta offer many changes and improvements to DCS World and our modules. Between all the work, they added a Type 59 medium tank, a playable Chieftain Mark III, and the Stennis carrier got a much needed 3D model update. Great news! In the previous video, we mentioned many times the new FLIR technology that is getting implemented into our sim. Based on feedback from the community, ED have tuned the FLIR image level and gain settings for both the Lightning and AT FLIR targeting pods, as well as infrared guided Maverick air-to-surface missiles. Their next main task is to complete infrared textures for all ships and aircraft. This will include FLIR effects improvements to explosions, smoke, and dust. Now let's focus on our main modules, and we start with the F-18C. With a focus on completing the roadmap set for the module, we got a new FLIR implementation, fixes and adjustments, the newly added AIM 7-piece Sparrow air-to-air radar-guided missile, and sadly, a small delay for the ADM 141A TALD that require further testing, and according to ED, is planned to be available in the next update. Work is also proceeding on the UFC BU page, updating the flight model and flight control system, loft queues, and finalizing the INS GPS alignment system. Moving on with the F-16C Viper. And of course, the new FLIR implementation fixes and adjustments are included as well. They added a cruise DED page, the GBU-24AB paveway tree, and they are investigating the addition of the possible delivery modes for a later update. Now the new Viper flight control system got improved and includes an increase in negative G capabilities, a smooth transition between flight and landing gear down modes, no more bouncy when lowering or raising the landing gear. They improved the roll rate logic, greater rudder authority that allows knife edge passes, eliminating yaw instability when low and very fast, as well as a reduced G-bucket effect when at high G and decelerating through Mach. So the Viper will have the ability to sustain 9.3 G when the energy state allows. The Flickus gains in landing and aerial refueling modes are also being updated. Additionally, improved stability when firing the gun and greater negative G will be available when using manual pitch override or MPO, but we will need to wait a little bit longer for this to take effect. ED also mentioned that they heard our concerns regarding the radar performance, so they are preparing a white paper that reviews and explains performance. For the following update, the hope is to add a new feature of manual bombing mode and ACL fixed DED pages. In parallel, other new items are in development like the setting up IDM L16 networks, flight air-to-air target assignments, ALE 50-toe decoy, the Mach 84 air, smoke pods, and more. Next up is the AH-64D Apache, which got the Hellfire Ripple mode, a much needed key for battery switch, 2 separate missions for landing procedures, bring them on, and many fixes and improvements. For the next update, ED hoped to include the altitude hold mode, target state estimator, update performance page, and George as pilot improvements for settling with power conditions. Matt Wagner also released a video showcasing the AI JTAG procedures with the Apache. And just before we released this video, we got a showcase for the altitude hold mode. Links are in the video description. From the Apache to the Hind, we finally got the Air 60M missile that can be mounted only on racks 1 and 4. We got new liveries for the Hind. We also got some improvements to adjust control menu depending on where you are sat. The anti-icing system gets an overall refactoring, which is work in progress, and indication and electrical consumption is fixed, and they plan to finish it for the next update. Alongside the other modules getting many fixes and improvements, I will lastly mention the A10C2 that of course got the new FLIR implementation fixes and adjustments, and we learned that the backlight issue is now corrected. So the South Atlantic map by Razbam is finally here in an early access version. The map is based on a post-2020 period with more improvements coming along in the future. And yes, there are areas, most of them on the southern side of the South America, that requires lots of improvements, and the developers know this. For those of you who don't know, it's a case of everything is grass. I had a nice flyby with my hip crew, Sergeant Rupesh and Alaric, and discovered area from afar. Everything looks amazing, but the closer you get, the magic disappears. And all it's left is grass. Tree grass, blue water grass, dark grass, and even sand grass. Now, jokes aside, Razbam will fix this situation as they mentioned in their early access release notes for the South Atlantic. At the early stages of the project, they decided to use satellite imagery. This posed a unique challenge, having to hand-clean every part of the landmass to remove clouds, buildings, seasonal stitching, and discoloration. I know this work back in the day when I was getting orthographic maps for X-Plane 11.
Shh! Not too loud. Apparently, you are not allowed to do that.
Really? Then what about... We interrupt the news with the early access weather report. It seems that as time passes by in early access, the team will improve the look of the map at low altitude. You can clearly see the red areas are currently at 10 to 25% completion. And they need more stuff, and less grass stuff. And of course, more improvements to the mesh. Then the yellow side is better, but only up to 50%. So more stuff are needed, like adding objects like rocks, debris, additional trees, and bushes. Now the current size of the map is around 70 GB, and they balance texture quality for areas between the populated airfields, towns, and cities. The team will be moving their focus to the mainland to address the issues and enhance the environment. So with that being said, let's take a look at the main airbases that are featured in the South Atlantic map. And we start with Port Stanley, the capital of the Falkland Islands, that marks the most eastern point with Cape Pembroke. The airport for the city is the only civilian airport in the islands with a paved runway. It has a few helipads, medium and small parking spots, and as you take off from runway 27, make sure you salute Lady Elizabeth, partially beached in Whalebone Cove. We noticed that Razbam included moving ships around this area, at least no more struggling to add boat traffics in my missions. Thank you guys! Though I also was expecting to see the Magellanic penguins at Gypsy Cove, but hey, maybe later on. We also have new traffic vehicles, but with the first release of the map, it seems we are missing many assets that will be added later, like the animated windmills and the new naval ships showcased by content creators in the previews. Hopefully with the upcoming updates, they will be fast to implement the new assets that bring more life to this already wonderful map. Razbam mentioned that they encountered some issues implementing the assets back in DCS, so the delay shouldn't be too long. The next update, according to the release notes, if not already implemented. Now let's continue. Next airbase is Mount Pleasant, that provides air defenses and transport operations in the South Atlantic. With 2 main runways, multiple hangars, and parking for aircrafts of different sizes, it will be the main airbase for the operations in the Falklands. Then we have a forward operating base called San Carlos, a wartime-built airstrip designed to support the operations of Royal Air Force, Royal Navy, and British Army fixed and rotary wings aircrafts. Constructed on the site of an existing grass airstrip, its runway reaching 230 meters or 755 feet, it was proved to be long enough to accommodate Royal Navy and Air Force Harriers on patrol over the San Carlos waters. So you may think that is it for the main operating bases that you can use in the Falklands. But if you find yourself in a warplane, you may just want to know that the islands have many grass strips that are also modeled by Razbam in the South Atlantic map. One of them is the grass strip located at the Sea Lion Island, one of the most southerly islands in the Falkland Archipelago. I will let you discover the others in your tours, not to spoil everything. On the mainland, we have a few Argentinian air bases. Starting with my favorite region, we got Ushuaia Airport, the world's southernmost international airport. Opened in '95, replacing an older one, has been used by various airlines at different periods and can accommodate airplanes as large as the Boeing 747. Being the southernmost airport in the world, is often used by passengers as a cruise ship gateway to the Antarctic. Next to it, we got a heliport which in our time is being used by the Ushuaia Aero Club and Heli Ushuaia for tours around the region. In DCS World, it will make a perfect small helicopter base for special operations. Moving on, we have Rio Grande International Airport, or Aeropuerto Internacional Gobernador Ramón Trejo Noel, but for us we will know it as Base Aeronaval Pioneros Guengüeños del Sur. Founded in 1949, its old name was... Okay, I'll stop here with the names. It has one runway and a few stands. It's also located very close to the city of Rio Grande, a place that reminds me of one of my best friends from Argentina, Martin, a singer that told me that if you find yourself in Argentina, every single grass patch is a football field. And guess what? Take a look at the map from Razbam and you won't be able to miss it. Then we have the International Airport civil pilot Norberto Fernandez, but in DCS it is marked as Rio Gallegos, a city that the airport serves as an international connection. It has 2 large stands and quite a few medium ones. And we end with a Chilean base at Punta Arenas, known as Chabunco, and part of the International Airport Presidente Carlos Ibáñez del Campo. Chabunco Air Base is home to the 4th Air Brigade Force of Chile, responsible for controlling the airspace, from the southern ice fields to the South Pole in the Chilean Antarctic. This air brigade is known for the great flight experience of its pilots. Since weather conditions are not always good, it is also known for conducting constant day and night air combat training flights. And to make it even better, they soar the skies in the F-5 Tiger III Plus. At Punta Arenas, you will have plenty of space to facilitate large operations, accommodating all types of flights and rotors. And that's it for the major points of interest in the South Atlantic map. It will be a great setting for many operations, and we are looking forward to keep up with all the latest developments from Razbam. Also, please let us know what are your thoughts on this new map released in early access. You can join discussions on our Discord channel, link is in the video description, or leave your comments down below. And that's it for today. Thank you all for watching. If you want to support our channel, feel free to use the thanks button that was recently implemented by YouTube, and remember to leave us a like if you find the video informative, and subscribe to keep in touch with all the latest news on your favorite simulators and games. I'm Andre Celesti, reminding you to fly safe, and I'll see you next time.